Hello and welcome to episode 13.5 of Chicken Blocked, and this is more of a tutorial than an actual Let's Play episode, and I'm going to show you how to build this giant big black box which spawns spiders. Haha! So let's get to it. So the first thing you're going to want to do is, if you've got access to the Nether already, then use that and make yourself an extra portal so then you're far away enough from your original spawn island. If you haven't got access to the Nether, then I'd suggest going out maybe 100 blocks or as far as you can until your island isn't rendered in anymore, and then we're going to basically start from there. Set yourself out a little 3x3 platform, which you can see I've done here with the polished basalt, and then you want to start building up a wall all the way around that, like I'm doing. Now I start off at only a couple of blocks high, but you actually want to take this 25 blocks up. So that's what I'm about to do here. Now the reason you want to go 25 blocks up is because of two reasons. One is because it should pretty much kill a spider if they fall that distance, but more importantly is that mobs will only spawn over 25 blocks away from you and up to 54 blocks away from you. So the 25 block is a minimum, and bear 54 blocks in mind depending on how many layers you want to make this, because anything more than sort of 54 blocks away from you won't actually spawn anything. I'd recommend making some scaffolding. If not, just use some dirt blocks or anything you can just to get yourself up and down. So once you've built up high enough, what you then want to do is pick two sides and then build out a further 8 blocks and then build the outside of that up 2 high. So you want the inside bit to be, it'll be 3 wide and 8 blocks long, which will allow for a full water stream. And you'll do that on 2 sides like so. And as you can see there, I've built all the walls up 2 blocks high. So once that's all complete, you then want to build 5 blocks out on one of those longer sides, and this is going to start what's going to become our first spawning platform. So 5 blocks out, and then you basically want to fill all of that in the same length as the whole water channel, if that makes sense. You can sort of see here what I'm doing, and I'm going to repeat that on both sides and then actually bring the walls up 3 blocks in total for now. So this then will give us a width of 5 and a length of 19 on each platform, which will be 95 spawning blocks on each side. So that's, what, 190 blocks of spawning area per layer that we do. Okay, so my recording derped out a little bit and I lost this segment, so I've had to come back into a creative copy. But what you want to do here is, with these 3 high walls, what you want to do is skip the bottom block, and then the second one up at the top half you want to put half slabs. So what you're leaving is 1.5 high gap, and this is what allows spiders to spawn but nothing else. Now I have tried experimenting putting full blocks in, but spiders won't spawn in it. For some reason they want a whole block and a half. So what you want to do is come all the way along like this and basically fill in this spawning platform. Let me just go into creative so I can fly above, and you basically want to mirror the spawning platform below. Now you don't have to use wooden planks. I've only used them because I'm cheap. You could have probably built the whole thing out of wood. Fill in a whole platform like so with the half slabs, and make sure that they are on the top half of the block, because then if you're using this as a spawning platform, things can spawn on it. If you set it on the bottom half, then you're going to have nothing spawn down here, and you're actually going to have nothing spawn on top, because mobs can't spawn on half blocks. Now, this extra block here, if you only wanted the one spawning platform, then at this point here, you'd actually fill this in with your roof. And the reason you need to put full blocks on top is because on Bedrock Edition, these half slabs won't actually block light. Even though it looks dark in there, mobs won't actually spawn in darkness down there. So if you want the one spawning platform, then put your roof here. Otherwise, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to build a total of 4 platforms. Okay, so after a bit more work, you can see here that as well as the wooden platform I just shown you, I've done 2 more. So that gives me a total now of 4 spawning platforms. What I'm now going to do is actually climb up, and I'm going to bring the walls up 1 more and then add another layer of slabs, but that's part of the roof. So you'll see here that I've filled the whole area in again with slabs. And then I'm actually going to cover the whole thing in full blocks, because as I explained, this is what's going to actually block the light and allow it to be a dark room mob spawner. And then the last thing to finally complete the main part of our mob spawner is just to cover the whole thing in half slabs again. And this is just to stop things spawning on the roof. Now you could use torches and light the area up, which will stop hostile mobs from spawning at night, but I just don't want the risk of any chickens spawning up there, or any wandering traders, any of the chicken traders, because they do like to spawn where you don't want them. And obviously if you're still after traders for certain trades, you don't want them blocking new ones from spawning by being up on the roof where you can't get them. So just cover it in slabs to be safe, or even carpet's another option. And then we're ready to go inside and do our water streams. Now, obviously, if you've left yourself a hole like I did to get back into the spawner, you're going to want to make sure that you obviously put the half slab at the top, but then also put your full block underneath, because otherwise that will let light in and it will affect your rates for spawns. And this is where now you're going to put your water source blocks at the far ends of the channels, I suppose, that we've created for ourselves. And if you've done it right, the water should just about run to the end where the hole is and not past it, or not leave any gaps. As long as you've done it 8 long, like I said at the beginning, then everything should be good. So now we're making our way to the bottom of the drop chute. It's kind of down to you as to personal preference and how far you are in your playthrough as to what you do here. Now, I'm quite late game and I've got access to hoppers, luckily. So what I done was I actually lined the bottom with campfires, because if the spiders don't basically die from fall damage, which you can see in the background here, it's a bit hard through the smoke, but a couple did already fall down to their deaths. But the campfires allow that if for some reason they don't fall to their death, then they will die on the campfire. And I've then put hoppers underneath to collect any drops. Now, you could put the campfires basically directly above your head, and then that means that you can just sort of move around a little bit now and again and collect the string. Or you could even not put anything there and let them just drop all the way down, and then you could actually kill them yourself. There's multiple different options here. Spiders are pretty easy to deal with. You could even just put a single block in the middle, and it means that the spiders wouldn't be able to get to you. So this is all kind of down to personal preference. So now you're basically all set up and good to go. I just want to mention a couple of pointers right at the end here. So you can see in the background that I went AFK. I done 10 minutes away from the computer and just let it run just to see what sort of drops I'd get. And I got 30 string for those 10 minutes while I was away. So when you work that out over the hour, that's 180 drops. So it's pretty much 3 stacks. It's nearly 3 stacks, which isn't bad. What you've got to remember is there's no zombies or skeletons or creepers or anything like that. So when the game is looking at what it can spawn and it tests for a creeper and it fails, you know, you're only going to get a quarter of what you'd normally get, if that makes sense. Also as well, anyone, before you mention it, why didn't I use trapdoors? Trapdoors don't seem to help. They don't convince the spiders to walk off any more than the spiders would anyway. There's something about spiders, they like to drop off the edge and fall to their deaths. And if anything, the trapdoors, because of by the time you've put them and then sort of closed them down, they almost restricted the spiders walking off the edge from below, if that makes sense, because that 1.5 high gap that they had is now down to 1 block, so sometimes they'd snag on it. Also as well, so I done this at 4 layers. I did do some testing with an 11 layer version, and I found that I'd maybe get sort of half a stack more over that hour. So all of that work, putting in the extra 7 layers, I don't think is necessarily worth it. If you want to do that, then by all means. If you want, you know, half a stack for an hour, if you're leaving it for 10 hours, then that's an extra 5 stacks. But you probably don't need that much string. Not for chicken blocks, at least. It's only for the odd net. But I'm going to stop it there. I hope you found the video helpful. This was a bit of a request, so I haven't done a tutorial for a little while. But yeah, hope you found it helpful. If you did, hit that like button on the way out. And if you've got any questions or suggestions, then feel free to pop them in the comments below. And until next time, take care, stay cool, bye-bye.